Hey Algebra 2 kids, so this is your new Regents packet that just got sent home last week. We're going to go page by page just because I find that it's easier with my dogs, my kids, and my cell phone ringing. So here you go, page number 2. We are going to start with question 1. We've got this expression right here and it just says, what is it equivalent to? You can get around this in a calculator. You put a number in for X, you put a number in for Y, you type this in, it's going to give you a nasty decimal, and then you type the 4 answers in and you see which one is equivalent to the decimal you just got. But we're going to do this out long. Remember, anytime we have something that looks like this, we want to write it using exponents, okay? So with a 4th root, what we're going to have is the 81, the x to the 8th, the y to the 6th, and this whole thing is under a 4th root. So when I have a root, I know it is a fractional exponent. It is a 4th root. And since I left all of these exponents the same, the exponent is going to just stay 1. So this 1/4 belongs to everybody. So it's 81 to the 1/4. It's x. Now exponent to exponent, you're going to multiply. So 8 times 1 is 8 over 4. You only multiply those top numbers. I got a couple of you guys that want to multiply this by everything. You don't. 8 times 1 and then over 4. And y, and 6 times 1 over 4. 6 over 4. Now I can reduce those a little bit. All right, so 81 to the 1/4, that I'm just going to go right, because it's a number, I'm going to go right into my calculator. Okay, 81 to the 1/4, which is 3. That's 3. Okay, it's a good test taker. You know what? Take a look. I know it cannot be this or that. That's a good start, right? You're down to a 50-50 shot of guessing. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. There's your answer. The only one that has an x squared right there. And then this, you would just reduce. You can divide this and this by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's why it stays 3 over 2. And that's number 1. Number 2, I love this name, don't I? Chet has $1,200 invested in a bank. It's modeled by this equation. This is the value of the account. N stands for how many months. And then his debt is modeled by this function. All right. After n month, which function represents his net worth? What is he worth? Okay, here's the deal. This is the value in his account. This is his debt. Well, you need to know, guys, what happens with debt. All right, you don't have that money. You have to pay that money. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the amount of money in my account, which is the 1,200 times 1.002 to the n, and we're going to take away my debt. That's going to tell me how much money I'm worth. My profit, take away my debt. I just take a look over here, and the answer is number 3. Done. All right, I just took the profit minus the debt. Done. All right, and number 3, Emily, or whatever her name is, Emmeline, whatever. Why do they just use normal names? She's working on one side of a polynomial identity proof to form Pythagorean triples. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Her work is shown below. So we got to play teacher on this one, okay? Which statement is true? It's all correct. She made a mistake in step 2, mistakes in step 2 and step 4. There's only a mistake in step 4. So let's take a look and see what she did. So from the original problem to step number 1, the only thing that is different is this guy right here. Okay, that's the only thing that's different. So my first question is, did she correctly square this quantity? Yep, she did, because 5 squared is 25, and x squared is x squared. That's the only thing that changed, because this came straight down. So step number 1, all good. Step number 2, it looks like this stays the same, and it looks like this was transformed into that. Now, a lot of you guys like to do that. However, in this class, we do one of 2 things. We factor or FOIL, and this tells me to do 5x squared minus 5 times 5x squared minus 5, which is a result of foiling. 5x squared times 5x squared is 25x to the 4th. And right there, I see that that is a mistake. So this step is definitely incorrect. So I can get rid of her work as correct. And I can get rid of there is a mistake in step 4 only. So now we're going to play teacher. So this is what she has. It's wrong. Did she correctly take this wrong and come up with step number 3? So I see 50x squares. Well, where did that come from? It came from combining 25x squareds and 25 more x squareds, which is correct to be 50x squareds. This 25 just came down, so the step is good. And then in step 4, it looks like she tried to add these two things together, which we cannot do because we have an x squared and we have whole numbers. We cannot combine those two things. So she did make a mistake in step 2 and step 4. All right, there's your first page.